Tonight on the super important show, Cats Wreak Havoc. Got HPV? Get paid. And find out all the best things that got stuck in people's bodies this year in 2022. I am one of your hosts, Destiny Adato, and joining me, as always, is my amazing co-host, Heather Jules Booth. How are you doing, Heather Jules Booth?
I'm great. For a split second, I really did think you were going to say that we were going to hear about just the stuff stuck in people's bodies for this past, 2 weeks.
No, it's all of 2022, but it's only the ears. We're only going to learn about stuff in people's ears. Yeah, it's going to be a recurring segment.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Great. I look forward to it.
We're doing minimum number of orifices this time.
Okay.
And we have a very special guest this evening, comedian Pedro Lee. Pedro, how are you?
Oh, I'm good, man. Hi, Dustin. Hi, Heather. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming. Pedro, tell people a little bit about who you are. For the handful of random folks who might not know who you are, please let us know. What's your deal? Who is Pedro Lee?
Oh, it's more than a handful of folks that don't know who I am. But I can guarantee that. I'm Pedro Lee. I'm a comedian, improviser, just your random jolly good fellow, good Samaritan, taxpayer, because that season coming up, so don't come after me. Yeah, I'm just here to have fun and hear what gets stuck in people's bodies.
Yeah, awesome. Well, let's get into it then. Heather, do you want to kick us off with?
Yeah, for sure.
World You
Absolutely. Crazy? Oh man, I see Michelle's already in the chat. So Michelle, get ready for this World You Crazy story because I know she's going to enjoy this.
Yeah.
The Army Corps of Engineers has released a 2023 calendar of giant cats attacking infrastructure.
Yep.
So
something the world needed.
Yes, they absolutely need this. A new 2023 calendar highlighting the achievements of the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers also features giant cats superimposed in photos of the engineering successes. So they're like, hey, look at this cool stuff that we engineered, but look how much better it is with giant cats superimposed on it. And the cats are just doing cat things. They're biting things, they're lounging, they're chewing things. Even better, this calendar is completely free of charge. You can go onto their website, you can download it, you can print it. And as I said when Dustin told me about this story, if you think I did not immediately download this, I did not get a chance to print it yet, but I have downloaded it and it will be hanging up very shortly.
Now I have all 12 months.
Yeah, I'm not reading them because I know you have them. Yeah. So everyone, get ready. Yeah. Wait, what did we get? They ripped off my screenplay.
I do want to warn you, Pedro, because you are a graphic designer. These are done very poorly. These are not. The Cats Destroy stuff is my thing, but these are done very poorly. So just be prepared for what a bad job they do at photoshopping.
I'm pretty pleased with these.
Yeah.
All right.
So
I did not do the photoshopping.
Yeah. First we got January.
Yep. Look at that. Gosh, every time the reservoir at Hills Creek is low, this stinking cat shows up. I'm just going to read you some of the comments that they have written into this. I mean, that's pretty great. That cat would legitimately do that.
All right. Move on to February.
Yeah, absolutely.
February cat playing with, I'm assuming that's toys on a crane. Is that what's happening?
Yeah. That looks like a cat toy on cranes. Yeah. This one is rather badly photoshopped, but I enjoy it. It's charming at the same time. Definitely charming.
Yes, which unfortunately I don't think these are real.
Michelle is asking.
I wish they were. We've got
that's gnarly.
Look at that. What does this say? I can't read this one, but it looks great.
We got this majestic cat looking over at
Look at this majestic cat just looking. That's just like, yes, this waterfall is mine.
Yeah, I appreciate Go ahead, sorry.
Michelle says they listed this on their iMeowDB.
Boo.
Which, I know you don't like it. I think it's great. Yeah, I like that this cat's just like paws folded.
Yeah, and you can tell they basically just hit.
Look at this one.
They just hit drop shadow.
Yeah. Go to this next one where it says, let's be honest. If cats were giant, this would be a real photo. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes, a cat would be stretching its back on this while majestic water. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No doubt.
Moving on
No
to
doubt.
May.
What do we got next? Yeah.
This seems like the most murdery
Yes.
of cats.
Look at this. This cat is like ready to slowly do the thing where it goes like and pushes the person off this. Yep.
Yep.
For sure. It's like, yeah.
Now we're on to
Oh,
June.
yeah. Let's see it.
I can't tell exactly what is happening here?
Oh, this cat's sleeping. He's just curled up. He's just taking a snooze.
Is that a dog?
That's a really cute cat. That looks like my cat. That's a good cat.
What is he sleeping in front of, though? That's what I'm trying to...
He's sleeping in front of, it looks like more water.
Okay.
I guess my guess is these folks engineer a lot of things involving water and like containing water, reservoir, ring water. That's not a word, but it is now.
July. Just cat on a boat. Just giant cat on a boat.
Yep. Wait.
What?
If I fits, I sits. We did too. If we were cats. Yep. That. Oh my God. Go to August. That's amazing.
Oh.
Holy moly! Look at those cats. Yeah. Those cats are just the cranes of their own life.
Yeah, I think we're coming up on one of my favorite ones. This is my favorite. Because this one is artsy.
Yeah, that's really good. I like that it says, "Admit it, you want this picture on your wall." That one is really good.
I mean, like, if I was gonna have one, it would be this one.
It would be this one. See,
right?
You were right. Or they're right. Yeah.
Yeah, the Army Corps of Engineers knows what they're talking about.
It's amazing.
October.
This cat's knocking that person over.
Nice.
It's a good idea to avoid walking out onto jetties. Okay.
Yeah.
A giant cat might show up and knock you off into the water. We said might. The chances happening are very low, but never zero.
November.
Amazing.
November.
2 more months. What else we got? Yeah, that's pretty great. Yep.
This one feels like
More
they
water. Definitely
basically
a bridge company doing bridges or reservoirs or something.
This to me feels like the
And what are we closing out with? If there isn't snow.
There isn't. Whatever's happening here, I don't know what's happening here exactly.
Oh yeah. Look at this. Oh, that's amazing.
So that's what we got.
Absolutely amazing.
It's free to download, so go there now. And because how often we use traditional calendars nowadays, it totally makes sense that we would have this. What else about the cats, or is that are we moving on? Did I lose you, Heather?
I think that I may have lost the ability to hear both of you.
What?
So
Can you hear us now?
I'm sitting here looking at you both, and I'm realizing like no one's talking.
Whoa.
I think that might be why.
Can you hear us now?
Can you hear us? Oh,
Okay.
no.
Okay. Well, Heather cannot hear us at the moment, so we will. I guess Pedro, let's move on to your story.
Wow.
While we get Heather back.
Move on without me.
All right.
Move on.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, Pedro. Why don't you give it a go?
All right. Wait a minute. Does the calendars have dates on them, or that's just the top portion?
Oh there's the whole calendar part, but it just.
Oh, okay.
I just took a picture of the top. I figured the calendar part spoke for itself.
I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah,
That was up the scale, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. You can go to the incredibly boring page for the Army Corps of Engineers and download the calendar.
They'll do. But, further news
Yeah.
and automobiles and insurance. Good news. The judge vacates a $5 million gecko payout to a woman who got HPV in her car. He said that the Jefferson City, Missouri, shout out to Missouri, a woman had claimed she got a sexually transmitted disease by the owner of a man in the car.
Mhm.
and that his insurance would cover the HPV. That's some good ass insurance right there. I done had car insurance, and it doesn't cover sexually transmitted disease. Not that I needed it, but I'm sure it sexually transmitted. But now they back and forth. This Supreme Court in Maryland, so they want to try to at least settle for $1 million.
Are they really going to settle? Is that?
They're not giving for. Yeah, they're trying to settle just for $1 million instead of the $5.2 million that she said she deserved because she had sex in the backseat of a car with a dude, and she got HPV from the dude, and his insurance should cover it.
Right, but what could Geico do to prevent HPV in their cars? What sort of safety procedure can one possibly create that would then prevent you from getting HPV?
Well, I done some debauchery in the back of a car before, I never caught an HPV from it. But I'm sure, I don't know what they can do for it, but they entertain the fact, and I guess that's going to be the new wave. A lot of people want to come up on a quick buck, go down there with someone scandalous with a car and get you a few million. And penicillin. That's what I would say.
I mean, couldn't you then essentially, okay, most people, let's say the original the original amount of money that they won, the $5 million stuck, right? And you could say you won $5 million. Wouldn't a lot of people trade $5 million for an STD?
It depends what we're talking about.
Right. I guess, yeah, it depends on which STD. But to some degree, I think a lot of people would be like, if you guarantee me $5 million, then so a person with an STD, in theory, could go sell their STD in cars and just be like, I will have sex with you in your car to give you an STD, and then you will get $5 million. This feels like it feels like a great plan for the dude or the lady who's selling their STD, but it feels like a bad plan for America.
It's a bad plan for America, but there's some trifling people out there. I know a friend that had sex with this girl that had an STD because he caught his girlfriend cheating so he could give it to her. So he used her as it's
wow.
It's biological warfare when it comes to love sometimes. Not playing fair. So I put $5.2 million on that. He in the backseat tonight.
Yeah.
Wait, so I just got my hearing. I got my hearing back. And I'd missed the first part of this. Is this person claiming that they got HPV from a car? As in they did the nasty with a car?
Right.
That would make more sense. The car gave me HPV.
Right.
But it's the dude that owns the car is insured by Geico.
Oh my God.
So his insurance from Geico, not his health insurance. No.
Yeah, his Geico
the
insurance.
Car insurance would cover this.
God. Oh my God.
So
I want to see them do that gecko commercial with this.
They're going to show a gecko itching.
Yeah, exactly.
Are you burning for savings? Yeah.
Oh, what's that strange smell?
Yeah, I just don't know what you do as Geico to be to prevent HPV. I just don't there are no seatbelts for that.
I want to know who was the first person that got this claim, saw this message, got this paperwork, got this email. Because I know I would sit there and be like, are you shitting me? And then I would immediately call other people. I mean, if you're allowed to I don't know how secret all these claims that come in are, but I would probably turn to people in my office and be like, y'all, what?
Jefferson City, Missouri. They do things different down there.
Damn.
I mean, how do you even prove that you got it in the car?
DNA?
But how do you mean? How do you
You could probably do like DNA testing or some kind of
Yeah.
testing.
Right. You can prove that you got it from the dude, but you can't prove that you got it in the car. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, you probably could.
you'd have to.
If she got it, so if she got an STD, that means they were probably not having safe sex, which means there might be some stuff left behind for them to test.
Right.
That they could use to prove.
Right. That just means that they had sex in the car, but it doesn't mean that she caught HPV from him in the car, is what I'm trying to say. Like, maybe they had sex beforehand, or maybe they had sex after. You don't know that the actual STD transmission occurred in the car.
And I don't know enough about HPV to know if, like, you can test genetic material like that would be left behind. Like, would that tell you? I don't know enough about. School failed me.
Black light
Sorry.
can tell you everything you need to see.
Sorry, schools.
Probably like a constellation in that back seat. There's so much going on. So, but it's the boldness of this person, right? To say, "Hey, I had sex with this guy that gave me a STD, and I'm suing your car insurance."
Right.
I like how the car is left out to protect the model and make of the year. So the car is left out of it.
It won.
Yeah.
I don't get how it won. I don't get how they like.
The fact they say we can't give you 5.2, but we can settle for 1.
Yeah, that is an awful precedent. That is an awful precedent. You can't.
Yeah.
We can't be doing that. We can't just be giving people money for. How many? That's what make-out points are about. Now they're gonna make make-out points illegal, even though I've never been to one because I always lived in a place where that doesn't make any sense because there are no hills where cars can park and people can make out.
Everywhere is a make-out point.
Right, but I'm just saying, like,
It's a make-out point.
I'm just talking about the traditional TV make-out point where you're like overlooking a valley or something like that, and that's where all the teenagers go. Like, our version of that was like a parking lot somewhere. So like, it's not as sexy as all I'm saying.
It'd be sexy. I want to look out over a dumpster right behind Popeye's fried chicken or Halsey between Broadway and anyone could be a make-out point or whatever. It's just
if you make it.
It's just the fact. It's just the dumbest. It's not the dumbest thing. It might be the most ingenious thing because I feel like the guy would be like, "No, my insurance doesn't cover it." But you're like, "What about your auto insurance?" And probably so befuddled, he like, "Yay, yeah."
It worked.
That's pretty wild.
Yeah. So everybody out there, try and get an STD in your car if you can. If you're gonna get one anyway,
right?
Get it in the car.
Get something out of it.
That's the message.
Yeah.
Not safe sex. Just don't have.
Right. Because Pedro, what's safe sex going to get you at this point? Is safe sex going to get you $1 million? No. But I guess unsafe sex can get you a bunch of money. That's all I'm saying.
Unsafe sex is very profitable.
Yeah. This is the episode where we
porn when they use condoms. It's like watching an action movie when they shoot water guns. It's not the same. It's just the visual is just messed up. You want to take risks like real stuntmen and women.
I love that this is the episode where we advocate for non-safe sex.
I know, right?
All right.
I caught yeast by that cat calendar. Just throwing that out there.
Yeah.
Just throwing that out there. I'm trying to get money this year.
Wait, does that mean you sue us or the Army Corps of Engineers?
The Army Corps.
Yeah, I think you got to sue the Army Corps of Engineers or YouTube.
Absolutely.
I guess in this case it's YouTube because you saw it.
They probably have the best insurance. Yeah.
I'm not suing YouTube. They trying to get me off of social media so fast. Never mind. I'm good. YouTube, we ain't got no smoke. We good.
All right. I guess do we want to move on to our third story, which I hope to be a recurring segment. I came across an article that listed the all the crazy things that people got stuck in people's bodies over the course of 2022. So this was just in the last year. And it was basically when somebody went to the ER, they would report these things and somebody got a list of all these things. They broke down the article by orifice of places where the things got stuck. So today, we're just going to cover things that went in people's ear holes. That is it. So for the record, that gives us an opportunity to do this segment 5 more times because they counted the nose, they counted the throat. So that with the ears, that's 3. They counted the butthole, that's 4. They counted the vagina, but then they also count the penis hole as the 6th. Oh. And there are a lot of things that got stuck in penis holes. We're not going to cover that tonight. We are.
Wait.
I appreciate that.
If they're willing to cover that, they're not counting belly buttons? What about belly buttons?
No, because
it's too shallow.
Yeah, that's too shallow. How are you going to get something stuck in a belly button?
Shallow? If you get in your penis hole.
Yeah, but there's
stop what you can stick in a penis hole. I know that for a fact. All right, Justin, keep on going.
There's a depth in a penis hole that is different than the depth in a.
All right, I'm gonna trust you both on that.
Yeah. Okay.
I do not have that to test. So
things stuck in the body in 2022. Specifically, we're going to just focus on the ear. I'd love for us to try and understand how any of these things are possible. So let's start with these 4. A cell phone charger somehow got stuck fully in a person's ear. A computer stylus. I really like wet tissues in both ears. So at a certain point, like the person stuffed a bunch of tissues in the ear, thought it was a problem, stuffed a bunch in the other ear, and then went to the emergency room. And a monkey noodle. I don't know what a monkey noodle is.
I was just going to ask you, what is that?
What the hell's a monkey?
I don't know, but somebody had a monkey noodle stuck straight in their ear. That's the first section of things that got stuck in a person's ear.
The only one that kind of makes sense is what?
Go ahead.
The computer stylus kind of made sense. Like I could see someone like, oh, my ear itches, and you like stuck your computer stylus in, and then it went too far and it got stuck. I mean, all the way in is like, what kind of ear holes are we working with here? But I don't understand a phone charger.
I don't understand a phone charger either.
What kind of ear holes are we working with here?
I mean, I assume normal person ear holes. Like, yeah. All right, let's move on though. 2 earbuds in the same ear canal.
That's just dumb.
Right. I don't even know how you get one earbud fully in the ear canal. And I don't know how you follow it up with a second. Like, that is an intentional, willful disregard for your body. A plastic owl, which I feel like is not a shape that is conducive to the ear. A plastic sword. I'm going to go ahead and assume a plastic sword is like a tiny one. I'm going to assume it's like a He-Man sword.
Someone trying to scratch their ear, for sure.
Yeah.
Lollipop, my big question is which side first?
Yeah, and why?
Right. Is it stick side or is it sticky side first?
Either way, why?
Ooh.
I don't know. Piece of an ice cream cone. I could see how that happens. I guess, glow stick, which at first I was like, how do you get a glow stick stuck in your ear? And then I was like, hey, you're at a rave. You're having a good time. You want to see if you can make your head glow? You shove a glow stick in your ear. Good times had by all.
I can understand why that would happen.
That's very logical, actually.
Right.
Yeah. Right.
I'm disappointed that we don't know which Battleship game piece got stuck.
Just like this. I like the specificity of it being Battleship, not just a random game piece.
Yeah.
Right. But is it like the long boat? Is it the little boat that's really hard to hit? Is it the little like indicator? I don't know.
Who knows?
Candle wax. I'm assuming that came from Sexy Times. I'm assuming
I was assuming they're probably ear candling because that's like a thing you can do to try and get wax out of your ear. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But they probably did it wrong.
I assumed people were having Sexy Times, and
Listen,
then
it could be both.
Okay.
And you know what? They're gonna sue HPV or Geico for it. They're gonna sue HPV. They're just gonna sue HPV, the whole thing.
Cufflink tried to use a knife to cut it out, but was unsuccessful. Which I think I kept this one in for the knife part, because at what point do you think, like, I will knife this thing out of my ear, and what happened in the process of getting it out?
They thought they could spear it out or something, or like do the thing probably where you you knock something out of the way and you're like, I can get it with the
Yeah, but never put a knife in your ear.
Oh, I don't disagree. Never put a knife in your ear, but people,
Yeah. Mistakenly used shoe glue instead of eardrops. I don't know how you solve this. I don't know.
The hospital.
Yeah,
Oh.
Do we assume then that their shoe glue was next to their eardrops, or what? Like,
that's an excellent question. Yeah. Yeah. Why were the two things near each other?
Which means I'm assuming you're putting like turpentine or something like that, like in your ear. Like, I don't know what you do to get that out.
I think that's the only thing you could do to break it up. That's what I was thinking.
You got to break it.
Yeah. And then finally, a person was doing a magic trick at school, put a pencil eraser in their ear, and was unable to retrieve it. I included this one only because that's a very weak magic trick that I'm making it disappear by putting it in my ear and then pulling it out. It's lame, and I'm disappointed in you for doing it, and you deserve it.
They did make it disappear.
They did.
Yeah.
At what cost?
So that's things that got stuck in a person's ear in 2022. I'm hoping to do this segment again. I will note that things that got stuck in a person's ear are the tamest of things that got stuck in a person's body in 2022. These make some level of sense. It gets a lot weirder, especially when we get down to penis hole stuff. But as Michelle pointed out, that we're gonna wait for sweeps. We're gonna wait for sweeps on that one, because that's
for sweeps.
Yeah, that's sweet work.
Yeah. You can't just be doing that in a random January week. So
wow. All right.
So that's it. Before we continue and move on to our next segment, this is my normal reminder to like and subscribe. It helps people know that you enjoy the content, and it shows them that they might enjoy the content, and it reminds you when we have new episodes coming. So if you can like and subscribe right now, that'd be swell. All right. Anything else before we move on to What the Fact? All right. Let us get there then. All right. For those of you who have not seen What the Fact before, I will ask Pedro and Heather a series of 3 trivia questions that maybe they'll know the answer to. I don't know. You can play along at home and try and guess the answer. Usually they're very difficult and weird. So let's see what we have this evening. We're going to start with the musical one. What made Ozzy Osbourne decide to quit doing acid? He still does so many other drugs, but he decided to quit doing acid after one of these things. Was it a trip where he was sure that he was a skeleton? Was it a trip where a bird ate his toes? Or was it a trip where a horse told him to fuck off? Pedro, I'm going to come to you. Which of these things do you think made Ozzy Osbourne say, you know what, I'm done with acid. I can't do that anymore?
I'm going to go with C.
You go with C? Okay. What makes you think C?
Because, I mean, he biting bats' heads off, and he just such a charming lad like that. I feel like a horse he'll feel bad about a horse.
Okay. All right. Chat so far agrees with you. I got 2 C's. What about you, Heather? Do you think?
I think it might be B. B is like made what was it? Made him like bite his toes off?
Yeah, a bird bit his toes off.
I'm going to go with that, because that one seems like the one that would most like really fuck with you. Like a horse telling you to fuck off is just really funny. Like I would just, that's hilarious. And the skeleton's disturbing, but I feel like the bird one really, like you could get yourself in trouble if you are not connected to reality and you're like, oh my God, a bird is eating my toes. So I'm going to go with that one.
Okay. All right. Joy pointing out Ozzy Osbourne, a real charming lad. The actual answer is, in fact, Pedro, you got it. It is C.
Wow.
Yeah.
I do acid. Now,
yeah. He took, quote, 10 tabs of acid and went for a walk. And during that walk, he ran into a horse, which I don't know if anybody's sure was real, but he spoke to the horse for a full hour, had a full conversation with the horse, and at the end, the horse got mad at him and told him to fuck off, and he realized that maybe he should stop doing acid. I'm not sure why that caused him to stop, but it did.
I have a question. Is that a lot of acid?
10 tabs of acid? I believe traditionally, one is about what you're supposed to do.
Okay, so it was a lot.
It was a lot. For Ozzy, probably not like a ton.
Yeah, probably not. Yeah, that was probably just a regular day. But
Yeah. But for us, at least for me, I don't know, I'm going to speak for you guys, but for me, 10 would be a lot.
I don't even know what the dosage is, so I think we can take a guess.
All right. Question number 2. Which of these were real jobs that paid real money? I will note that I'm saying which of these. It could be more than one. It could just be one. But a camel teaser. Person who just teases camels to get them to be productive. A ornamental hermit. A person who is paid to be a hermit in people's gardens. The predecessor to the garden gnome. Or a knocker-upper. I'll just leave it there. Heather, I will come to you first. Which of these are real jobs that people got paid money to do?
What is a knocker-upper? What I think it is?
I'm just going to give you the title knocker-upper, and you decide if a knocker-upper
I'm going to go with that. I'm going to go with that. Because I think it's either a person that does exactly what that sounds like, gets hired to knock people up for whatever untoward reason.
Okay.
Money, insurance scams, I don't know. Or if it's like someone who gets paid to knock on people's doors to annoy them, to wake them up. I still think it's a real job.
Okay.
So I'm going to go with that one.
You're going to go with C.
With that.
Okay.
I love B, though. I think B is hilarious.
Brandon is agreeing with you. Michelle's going with B and C. Topping is going with B. Pedro, where are you going?
I agree with Heather. With the C, a knocker upper. I feel like that could be anything like mechanic, like knocking something out and upping it the prices. Wow, that sucked. I'm going, and I also go with camel teaser because maybe you get them in the mood, like fluff them up. I've never seen camel nuts, but it dry in the desert and everything. You need to get moist.
All right. Okay. All right. So we got answers. We got answers all over the place.
Yeah, chat is everywhere.
Yeah. All right. I will. The actual answer to this question, it's 2 of them are correct, actually.
Oh.
It is B and C. Heather, you were on the right track in terms of knocker-upper. A knocker-upper is a person who would wake people up in the morning. They would have a giant stick, and they would rattle on people's windows, because usually people lived on the 2nd floor, and they were basically the predecessor to the alarm clock.
That makes so much sense.
Yeah,
it honestly does.
It sure is.
Yeah. And you just call it the knocker-upper. Yeah.
The ornamental
the knocker-upper coming around.
I will say, though, the ornamental hermit is my favorite of the choices.
I can't believe that's real.
Yeah, that was a person who was paid to live in a rich person's garden and just be a hermit. They were paid extra to not bathe. They wanted them to look dirty and weird so that people could say that they had their own hermit in their garden. Many people think of them as the predecessor to the garden gnome. And that was a thing.
Garden gnomes aren't live.
Garden gnomes aren't live, but ornamental hermits are. So there was a period of time in the history of this planet where you could just be weird in a person's garden and get paid for it. Or you could be a knocker-upper. Those are 2 different things that were a possibility.
Joy says she can do that job, and the comment came up in such a way that I'm not sure if it's B, C, or both.
Yes.
So, I don't know.
All right. Question number 3. In Hungarian, the word cookie or cookie would translate into what? So if you were saying the word cookie in Hungarian, what would they think you were saying? Would they think you were saying monster or ghoul? Would they think you were saying wee-wee or weenie? Or would you think they were saying pervert or sick person? I think of this in terms of Cookie Monster, meaning, are you saying Cookie Monster is a monster? Or are you saying that Cookie Monster is a penis monster? Or are you saying Cookie Monster is a pervert monster? Which of these do you think is true? Pedro, I will go to you first. Which type of monster is Cookie Monster?
Well, Dustin, I like to keep my clean image up, so I'm gonna
Uh-huh.
go with Monster or Ghoul.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm going A.
Right. Because you're nothing if not a gentleman, and you wouldn't debase yourself by saying something other than A. I get that.
Yeah, thank you.
Heather, what about you?
I'm gonna go with B. I think it's B.
You think it's B? Why do you think
just
it's
do.
B?
I don't really have a reason. I just do.
Okay.
I think it's B.
Right.
I think it's a wee wee monster.
Okay. Well, chat's going A or C or C. So
Yeah.
So chat is not agreeing with you. But you're going to go with B.
That's okay.
The actual answer is, in fact, you are correct.
It's wee wee monster.
It's Wee Wee Monster. So,
Yes.
if you were in Hungary and somebody introduced you to Cookie Monster, they would assume that you're referring to Penis Monster. So just think about that every time you see Cookie Monster from now on.
Give me
Nice.
that cookie.
Yeah.
Well, there it is.
Yeah. So that's something we all know now, and we'll stick with us every time we meet. Every time we eat a cookie from now on, we will think
We're
about
just gonna
Hungary.
think about that.
Yeah, we'll just think about eating penises. So that's our what the fact for this week. Hopefully, those are things that you can bring into your lives and potentially get a job as an ornamental hermit. You know,
I can't wait to share that fact. That is a fact I'm definitely going to share at my job. I'm excited.
cool.
To just when I have to be there really early in the morning, that's how I'm going to share it.
Okay.
What if I were just sitting there? Oh, that'd be really creepy. If I just get there a little earlier and I sit there, and then the first person in is just like, "What's Heather doing?" Shh, I'm an ornamental hermit.
That's what you're paying me for from now on.
Yeah, exactly. This is what my paycheck goes to. Michelle is cracking me up. Michelle is questioning about having eaten multiple cookies earlier today.
Yeah.
As someone who would not normally be eating what we know a cookie to mean in Hungarian.
That's the whole point of the show, is to blow people's minds, and we did it. So
Or cookies.
yes. All right, which brings us to our last segment, which is Would You Rather. As a reminder, because I sometimes forget to do this, if you have a Would You Rather that you would like us to cover during the segment, throw it in the chat, and we will do our best to cover it. But Heather, why don't you kick us off?
Yeah. So, would you rather, 2023, would you rather live in medieval Europe or in Wild West America? Huh. All right. Pedro, I'll go to you first.
Well, neither one is kind of good for me, but
That is true.
Fair.
Yeah.
I would go to medieval Europe.
Why?
I don't know. Maybe I could become an apprentice of a cobbler, create some Jordans for the medieval time. I don't know.
Okay.
Entrepreneurship, which I'm trying to be.
All right.
All right. Dustin?
So I got into a fight with my dad about this earlier today.
Wow.
Because he usually calls me Monday afternoons to ask me what the Would You Rathers are going to be. And he's like, well, obviously Wild West, because like in medieval times they would you'd have to wear like armor and stuff and put you in like chains and torture people and all that. And I was like, sure, but I felt like in the medieval times there was more of like I don't know if rule of law was a thing, but like you knew what the basic like law was. So that even though it was crappy and it was not in your favor, and at any point, like the king could just be like, your land is my land now, and I'm going to attack you and stab you. There was like something resembling like order. And it felt like the Wild West was just basically like, hey, there's nobody around here, so we're going to do whatever we want. And there's no law because this isn't really a country yet, so deal with it. So I feel like I went with medieval, even though there's a good chance I'll die from the plague like very early. But it still seemed like medieval was better because I am very bad at dueling, I assume. Because I would not hit anything and I would be very slow and all that. So I'm going to go with medieval times where I would just like, I'd lay real low and try and avoid pissing anybody off, which I think is harder to do in Wild West America. What about you, Heather?
Yeah, this is tough. Everyone's saying it. Like, yeah, this is not a great time for women either. Like, Dustin, you probably, if you, me, and Pedro have the least problem with both of these eras.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
Right. So I feel like Wild West. Yeah, I'm kind of leaning towards what you're saying, Dustin, because in Wild West there are no rules, and like I'm not too up on my knowledge of what other than the TV show Deadwood, which to me makes me think Wild West America is either like getting murdered while like trying to cross country or just being a whore, basically. But like, and that's fine. Also, I want to be very clear, nothing wrong with sex work. However, it also looked like it was like in dirty, bad conditions, and like you were just talk about STDs, you were constantly dealing with all kinds of things, and like then your other option was I'm just telling the plot of Deadwood at this point, because I'm like, then there's like the lady who's just taking opium and that was her thing, and Joy says Wild West, if you can have a gun and a good horse, maybe. Well, I feel like, yeah, there's the some of us who could wind up being like Wild Annie, who's like walking around cussing and shooting at people, which is probably what most of us in this would be, because we're not going to be like the opium ladies. Anyway, that's to say that I think I might choose medieval Europe, because even though I think it's problematic and agree women are not going to be treated great in either of these spaces, I feel like I'm going to just base it on all the art I see coming out of medieval, like the medieval age, where like women were very like, they're ethereal and they're this and what, and I feel like I could just survive as like a floaty woman who's just like, I'm pale.
You'd be a person who's professionally pale. That's what you're saying.
I'm just professionally pale, and I'm just like, I'm so wan. I also, Dustin, you said plague, because what was funny was the first thing I thought of for both of these options was like, what do you die from and which is worse? Because I was like, plague. Everything? Just all the things that no one had yet. So I think ornamental pale person's exactly it. Yes, that's what I'm going to go with medieval Europe. I don't like either of these options, but that's what I'm going to go with.
See, okay, so the thing I'm about to say, I mean out of 100% respect. So don't get mad at me for the thing I'm about to say. Even though,
what are you about to say?
Even though there's no way for you to guarantee that. I feel like, to me, it's obvious in the Wild West situation, you're clearly like the badass madam that works at the saloon. Like, I feel like you are definitely that lady.
100% right.
Like you shoot whiskey to prove that you're tough and stuff like that. But like, and nobody ever like, people hit on you all the time, but you're like, no, I'm the madam. Get the fuck out of here. But like, I think that's your job, and I would totally expect you to thrive in doing that. So
you're also correct about that.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it's okay, Joy. You don't have to be mad. Dustin is not wrong. Because I also was like, I would be scrappy. I'm not going to be, I would not be the wan, pale, floaty person in the Wild West. No.
Right. You'd definitely be the one.
Yes, Pedro.
Can I go to the Wild West and collect the bounty for catching an STD in the back of a wagon?
Yes.
All right.
Yes. I would actually, oh my God, what a great, you just come riding in one day and you're like, I have a debt to settle with somebody. And you just like point at somebody and you're like, I got the STD in the back of that horse wagon.
Yeah.
I do think the STD would be a lot deadlier back in the Wild West, but fair.
For sure.
Fair.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, the STD had guns back then. Everything was no.
Do we want to move on to question number 2?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Pedro, your question.
All right. Would you rather have the power to read minds? This is some kind of simple one. Or the power to fly. Which one you choose? It's very simple. Not simple, but
Who you going to first?
I'm going to you, Dustin, first.
Power to read minds or power to fly is what you said?
Yeah.
Okay. So, assuming all things are the same otherwise, then I would say power to read minds, only because flight would be very dangerous for me. I feel like I would definitely fly into the sides of buildings. So, like, I want to pick fly because fly sounds awesome. But I feel like power to read minds, for some reason, I just figure, like, I could just play in the World Series of Poker every year and make, like, millions of dollars, and I could negotiate deals and stuff like that. Like, I could make a lot of money. If I could fly, that'd be super cool, but I would be always afraid that I was going to, like, fly into power cables and stuff like that. So, assuming I don't have Superman powers and I only have the ability to fly, I think that would be too dangerous, so I'm going to go with reading minds.
You sure? You really want to know what goes on in this thing?
No, that you're assuming I could turn it off. That's the, like, it's assuming I could turn it like I don't want a whatever that weird Mel Gibson movie was where he could, like, read everybody's minds, like, all the time, where you slowly go crazy. Like, I would, I would probably spend, like, a couple of seconds in your brain and be like, no, I'm good, and then, like, and then move on. But, like, but if I had to hear it all the time, then maybe that would affect my situation.
Bless somebody. All right, Heather, you.
What?
Oh, you can't hear me?
I can hear you. What's weird is, like, no, you're good. I saw Dustin's mouth moving, but I couldn't hear Dustin, but I can hear you, Pedro.
Oh, no, I'm done.
No, Dustin's
so
done.
Weird.
Yeah.
Very odd. Great. I'm going to go with fly. Absolutely. I don't want to read people's minds. I don't want to know what's going through their minds. There's so many problems that could happen with that. I don't need to know what people are thinking. A chat was saying a couple of things like, can you pick when you read the mind? There's too many problems with reading the minds. Flying is great. Like, now you don't have to worry about transit. You can fly everywhere. You don't ever have to pay for flights again, because I assume you can just, like, be like, oh, I want to go to a place. I'm going to fly there. It's cool. You can meet birds. There's nothing, unless you fly into the sun, like, don't fly into the sun. Otherwise, it's nothing. The flying is so cool.
Right. That's because you got working eyeballs. I got mediocre eyeballs that are going to, like.
My eyeballs are not that good. I got contact lenses in these eyeballs so that they're at least slightly decent.
Right,
take them out and I'm worthless.
Right, but you just throw on some, like, flying goggles and, like, with your contact lenses, you'll be fine. Whereas I'll fly, like, right into a building and then it'll suck. So anyway, I don't want to step on your thing.
Oh no, you're good. I pick flight. Absolutely.
Okay.
Yes, Joy. I want to meet birds. Absolutely. How would that be?
Cool. Pedro, what's your answer?
Fly. I already had no. My steam is not high enough to read people's mind. I like no. I already think I can read a person's mind by their face expression. So that's all I need. I don't need no more. I'll fly. I'll probably fly. I'll fly. I wouldn't tell anybody I could fly though.
Ooh. I like that.
What would you?
I just show up, bang.
Okay.
No, because people don't want favors if they know you can fly. They're like,
you're right.
All right, you're gonna be saving everybody's cats from trees.
Yeah, could you fly to shop right quick and get? No, I can't.
Yeah. Hey, you just fly, right? Yeah.
Yeah, no, I don't want to do that.
I think I've probably mentioned this on the show before, but I have a reoccurring dream. I probably had it like 6 or 7 times at this point, where I discover that, like, it's not that I can fly, but I can pick my legs up and basically levitate at the same height that I stand at.
Cool.
And every time I've had that dream, the only use I've come up with it is to do the long jump. So, like, at the end of every dream, I'm like a world record holding long jumper, because I'll, like, run and then just pick my legs up and just keep going for a really long time until I've won the gold medal.
Wow, what does that mean?
I don't know, but I hope to one day think of a better use than just long jump, because I think even
dream bigger.
Yeah, even the most successful long jumper is probably, like, not anyone any of us have heard of. So, like, and I watch the Olympics all the time. So, yeah, at some point I need a dream interpretation of what that means.
Yeah.
I guess that's also partially why I went against flight, because I've had that dream a bunch, and I was like, flight's boring. You just win the long jump, and then you're done. Right.
That's true.
That brings us to our third question. That brings us to my question. Okay, so would you rather be able to rename the United States or to be able to rename the moon? And based on your answer, what would be the name that you would go with? Heather, I'm going to go to you first.
You can't throw such a great question like that at me without me having had. I know that I had access to these questions earlier, and I did not
Yes.
take time to think about this. Oh my God. I mean, the temptation to just name the moon Cheesy McCheese Face, very strong. But I also could kind of want to troll the United States. Like, I don't know. Like, what if I just renamed it like United in quotes?
And just
like the United States. And everyone's like, what does that mean? And I go, look inside yourself.
Ooh. That's deep. Oh man.
So you're going with the United States.
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah, I think so.
Pedro, what about you?
Like cheesy cheese face though.
I would name it. I'll go with the name of the United States. What would I name? Something to. I would name it Britain just to piss people off.
Oh, that's good.
Oh, I would name it Greater Britain.
That's really good. Greater Britain.
Just to see what you want to do about it.
Yeah, I like that.
Okay. I, similarly as I normally do, will disagree with the group, and I would go with the moon because, okay, so the U.S. in our life, like probably not in our lifetime, but who knows? We're in a bad path. May or may not continue to be the powerhouse that it is. We may just go and be like a Canada. You know what I mean? Like Canada's great, but they're fucking Canada. You know, like there's probably a time, you know, within the next like few hundred years that we're just going to be like a Canada. At which point, like renaming the U.S. is like whatever. You know, like I don't know who Kazakhstan's named after, but like it's probably named after some dude. But like I don't know. And
after named Kazakhstan, obviously.
Right.
Yeah.
Clearly. Whereas Joy is mad at me for making fun of Canada. Whereas the moon will always be the moon. And I have looked up the moon so many times to see if I'm just looking at it wrong, to see if the moon has a name that's different than just the moon, if there's like a scientific name for the moon, and there isn't. We just named the moon, and we named every other moon a name, but the moon is just named the moon. And I feel like the moon, as long as there's humanity, will always be there. Therefore, I would want to name the moon something. And unfortunately, for me, the first thing I always think to name things is Gary, because I think Gary is a silly name. So I would say we should change the name of the moon to Gary, and it will fuck everybody up forever. And then everybody will know that I named the moon Gary. That's my plan. And I will forever be known as the guy who named the moon Gary.
Wow.
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 The Gary is out tonight.
Yeah. Full Gary tonight.
Full Gary out tonight.
Right?
Great minds, Pedro.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that's our last one. If anybody in chat has a question you want us to answer, or Pedro, do you have another one? I know you're always good for silly would you rather questions, or we could just say goodnight to everybody.
All right. Would you rather us stay on and say good? Nah. Would you rather? All right. If you could survive, you'll be totally fine. It won't affect you anyway. Would you give someone you hate your brain, or someone you love your heart? You'll be totally fine, like 8 pounds, but you survive.
Well, I feel like this is a messed up one for me right now. So, so Heather, you go first because I have all sorts of things I need to figure out on this.
Cool. I think that Joy just said exactly what I was going to say. I think that I would give someone I hate my brain because, there's a lot of good things about my brain, but also then the person that I hate could get all the things that I don't like that happen in my brain. And if I hate them, then they have to deal with it. Yeah. They get stuck with it.
I'm going to go with brain too, just because I'm an anxious, crazy person, and I feel like the other option is a bad one for somebody that I love. So I'm going to go with brain. How about you, Pedro?
Wow, brain across the board. So they can live the rest of their life going on to this carnival that goes up inside my yeah, brain, definitely.
Yeah.
We got another question from Michelle. You want to throw that one out?
Yeah. Who's reading it?
Oh, I'll read it. Can you put it up?
Yes, I can.
Okay. Would you rather have that falling feeling 24/7 or trip and fall at random at least once per day? Heather?
I mean, well, this is ridiculous because this is just my life. Like, this is honestly, this is just my constant life. As an anxious person, I have that feeling in my stomach almost all the time. And I trip and fall hard often. I mean, maybe not once per day, but definitely happens often.
Okay, so you're gonna go with trip.
I guess so, because just for something different.
Okay. What about you, Pedro?
I'd rather go ahead and trip because the anticipation would kill me. So even though I won't know when I'm gonna fall, but at least I know it's gonna happen today. I don't know when. But hopefully I'll fall in love. No, but I'd rather just get it out the way.
So you're gonna go with but you don't. So you're gonna go with trip as opposed to having the falling feeling all the time.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I gotta go with trip also. Although, like, I am in constant fear of tripping. Like, I don't trip that often, but I think it's because I'm like hyper vigilant over tripping because I assume that I'm gonna trip all the time, and I have a stick that helps. So that, like, a lot of things that I might trip on, my stick says don't trip on that. But that falling feeling, that falling feeling is no good. That falling feeling is the worst. I'm gonna go with trip, even though, like, I guess the upside is that, like, I spend most of my time in the apartment, so I would just trip, like, in the apartment. So I would just maybe baby-proof the apartment and put, like, like, put rubber corners on everything so that I don't poke my eye out. So I'm gonna go with trip. Barring any other questions coming up, I think that's the end of our show, guys. Pedro, thank you so much for joining us. Where can people find out more about what you have going on?
Oh, thank you. If you guys want to, if y'all guys really want to support me, I can really need y'all to come out and support me. I'm going to be performing live downtown Brooklyn in the courthouse, and I really need y'all. I really need y'all support. I'm playing the role of innocent, and I really need y'all.
Oh my God!
I'm really gonna bring it home. Nah, seriously.
So by virtue of saying you're playing the role of innocent, that means you're guilty.
I'm a method actor. I'm innocent all the time. Now I'm going. You can catch me at Young Ethel's under Kate O'Neill Martino production. Whether it's Indie Night, Stand Up to the Prov, and I'll be there ladies' night taking photos. And you can catch me at the Armory doing something. I'll be doing something. Some would say I'm trying to attempt improv, and that's what I'll be trying to do.
Okay.
Yeah, and laughter party. That's like a cookout. Which another tip. Yes. Thank you.
Cool. And on Instagram, You can catch him at Pedro Lee on Instagram.
Oh, catch me. It might be a limited time. I don't know what happened with them pickle memes, but I'm under attack. I'm getting flagged left and right for sending delicious through the internet. But you can catch me at Pedro B. Lee on all media forms.
Are you saying that the pickle content has like caused issues for you?
Yes. Terroristic issue.
Damn.
Weird.
I knew pickles were evil.
Yeah.
This is why I knew pickles were evil. See? Knew it.
Heather, what about you? What do you got coming up?
Michelle's pointing out that I'm behind the pickles probably in some way. I don't have anything on the horizon right now, but you can always follow my musical improv group, Red Shirts Musical Improv. So we post when we have more shows coming up, and anything else I have coming up, I'll let y'all know. But it's quiet time right now.
Cool. And as usual, you can follow Super Important Stuff on Instagram, and we will let you know about guests that we have coming up and other things. Or if we're off that week like we were last week, we'll let you know and try and provide silly, weird content so that you are amused by that content. And if you want to catch me doing stand-up, you can catch me doing stand-up this Sunday at Young Ethel's at 6 p.m. For I don't know what the name of the show is, so I apologize. We'll be there at 6 p.m. on Sunday. I could not find the name of the show, so just come check it out. It's a good time. Pedro, thank you so much for joining us. You were an amazing guest. We will be back next week, and have a good one, everybody. Bye.
Bye.